class, kind of weird, everybody has. Now I'm just kind of curious, where is everybody located? Where are you guys located? Where are you joining us from in this world? I'm Green Bay, Wisconsin. Let me know in the chat. Where are you guys at? Medina, Ohio, sunny San Diego, Arizona, California. You guys are warm. You guys are probably warm right now. Brandon, you're probably freezing like me. Sacramento. Oh, this is Colorado. Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome. I love to see this. Yeah, frozen. Yeah, that's for sure. I'm trying to right now. Our temperature coming in 17. I want to see where we have. We beat you by 1 degree. It's 18, but it feels like 5. And I am thinking very much about my husband right now, who is a mail carrier. And if you can imagine, he's just out there trudging through the snow and it's 18 degrees, but that's why they say, what's the USPS statement through rain, sleet, or snow, or freezing your face off. I'm pretty sure that's it. -4? Oh my, oh. Okay, yeah, you're in the right spot. Just stay in this class, don't go outside. It'll be beautiful in a few months. I feel you. I feel you. All right. So I'm glad to have everybody here. I'm gonna actually try to make it through this class with the strongest voice that I can, but this COVID cough is not leaving me, and so if I mute out suddenly, and it's because I'm coughing. So I thank you for your patience in advance. So let's get into it, guys. Let's hear. So Start 109, we are talking lead conversion fundamentals. This is going to be your overview of the key concepts that are going to serve as the foundation for executing your lead generation plan for your real estate business. So this course is going to cover fundamentals of lead conversion, including building relationships, qualifying leads, and then setting appointments, as well as provide some strategies and tactics that you can implement immediately. So you're going to learn what you need to know to start converting leads right away. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to go over to slide 6. So in today's session, we're going to try to understand the mindset, the skill set, and the tool set related to moving relationships through a process. Because, I mean, that's it. Lead conversion is essentially, it's just moving relationships through a process. The lead generation class we just covered was about finding the leads, not going to work on the skills to convert those leads into clients. So let's talk a little bit about your mindset. Now, make sure I get my slides. Okay, so lead conversion is both an art and a science. Now, the data is the science. So, tracking what you're doing. Your mindset is the art. So the first thing that you need to know is that value is the ticket to the ball game. If you're not providing value, then you are not, moving relationships through a process. And I think a lot of people kind of get stuck here. So when I talk about value, I'll say this: simply put, value is something that helps create positive effect on others. It could be a lot of different things. And the second thing that I'm going to say here, and because there may be, especially if you're brand spanking new, this may be a tough one. I can just really think back to being new. And I will just tell you that you can create value. You are knowledgeable, you are professional, you are passionate, you're a business owner, so you can add value to the lives of others. You absolutely can. I just say that for all of the newbies in here. It's hard. It's hard to feel confident. It's hard to feel like you are the professional. So I just want to bring that up for if you feeling like that, you can provide value. Now, the next thing I want you to remember is that the timing of someone choosing to buy or sell is almost never linked to you. So, I mean, lead conversion is it's always about timing, but it's the timing that's important to, your buyers and sellers. It's not about your timing. Think about how you make decisions for yourself and in your family. It's never based on anyone else's timeline. So focus on the relationship, not the transaction, not the deal, not the commission. And that you're going to be in a position then to serve them when the time is right. Them. Okay. I'm grooving over to slide 9 if you're following along. Now, the next thing from a mindset standpoint, I'm going to give you a little formula. And now everybody knows their ABCs. I'm going to give you the CBAs of lead conversion. You see what we did there? We put that thing down, we flipped it, and we reversed it. It's your CBAs. So the first thing is going to be create rapport. So this is the first thing you should be doing with any interaction with anyone professionally. So not just buyers and seller leads, but your sphere of influence, your friends and family members. So a few tips for helping you build rapport is let your clients choose the method of communication that's best for them. Of course, always remain friendly and helpful. And if you say that you will do something, follow through. This is where the trust is built in that follow through. Right. For a moment, flip that over. So I'll give you a few different rapport builders. Now, number one, make them laugh. I will tell you, I always try. I am halfway successful at that. Successful at it. Compliment them. Give, get the yes along the way. So, you're likely to get more yeses down the road because they've already given you some. It makes them feel like, yeah, we're on the same page here. Genuinely listen and then repeat what they said so you demonstrate what that you are listening. You can educate them on the market, the buying and the selling process. And lastly, remember that facts tell and stories sell. So when you're stating facts, you're telling clients something. When you share a story around the facts, you're selling yourself and your services. I'm looking at a question in the chat. So when asked about experience as a new agent, how do you address that? Well, I would say that number one, it's a big question that I think a lot of brand new agents are worried about. And I will tell you that, and I don't know, it could be only my experience, or I think a lot of people may share the same thing. A lot of times everybody thinks that they're going to ask, and a lot of times they don't. But my other suggestions for that is to leverage your mentor. So you can say, well, like I just started my real estate business in the last 3 months. What's really cool is that my mentor has over 25 years of experience. Or you can leverage your brokerage, leverage EXP. We have over 80 hours of training every week that you have been sitting in. So there's a number of different ways to look at it. But to be honest, I always think that people think they're going to get asked that more than they do. But if anybody else has any interesting ways to kind of approach that question, go ahead and put those in the chat. But I think leverage, if you're brand new, you probably have a mentor, then leverage that mentor. All right. So we're going to move on to next one of our CBAs, and that is going to be build trust. I'm going to quickly just grab a drink. It's really going downhill with this voice. So B of the CBAs is for, build trust. So people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So remember we talked about lead conversion and how it's all about, moving people through a process, we are looking to build trust all along the way through that process. So how am I going to do? Be authentic, be yourself, um, be dependable. If they cannot depend on you, do what they said or excuse me, if they can't depend on you to do what you said you were going to do, you might get through a transaction, but they're never going to be that lifetime customer or send referrals your way. And then be professional. And one more thing, just as far as like be authentic, is that I the authenticity, I think, really helps overcome, and nobody wants to be sold. No one wants to be sold. So if they get to see who you are, then it feels a lot less like you're being sold. So if you're, a mom with 5 kids, a gaggle of kids, be a mom with a gaggle of kids, and you're going to really get on well with other moms who relate to you. So there's going to be, I think that authenticity piece is a really, really big part of it. Okay, let me just flip over to the next one. So here are some trust builders. Now, get good at asking great questions. I'll actually have a little framework that I can walk you through in a little bit. Be honest in your explanations. Reference their answers when you're speaking. I think that's always a really great one. The biggest piece here with this one is just follow up. I mean, make sure that you follow up. It's one of the biggest ones, especially with leads that don't know you well yet, because that trust that just doesn't happen in a one-off. It's built during those follow-ups. And now, of the CBAs, we're getting to our A, which is for appointments, setting appointments. Now, if you do not set an appointment to move people to the next step in the process, it's not typically going to happen. People set appointments with professionals, with their, your doctor, your dentist. That is your goal when you are talking to a buyer lead or a seller lead, is to set the appointment. Now, there is always a good reason for an appointment. Now, typically we're we're looking to schedule buyer consultations and listing appointments, but if you can't, can you schedule the next time to talk? Like, hey, when can I follow up with you? When can we talk again? There's a number of different reasons. Now, obviously, like I said, the buyer consultation, the listing appointment, the home tour, the home visit, like these are good for the FSBO, a for sale by owner. Like, hey, I'd love to drop by your home and take a look at it. What if I have a buyer that was willing to pay, 30K over market? Would you want to talk to me then? With those, you could also leverage those express offers, which I can talk a little bit about later. But other reasons for the appointment is just, honestly, just to establish a relationship, have a meal, establish a business partnership together. Now, appointments are a metric. Their quantity and their quality can be measured. Now, this is something that you can, actually scientifically build your business around. All right. We're in January of 2022 now. Let me know in the chat, how many professional appointments have you gone on? Well, I guess let's say in the last 90 days, since we just started in January. In the last 90 days, how many professional appointments have you gone on? Let me know in the chat. If it's 0 2, it's fine. Pretty longer now. Zero. Wait, can you hear me though?
Can you hear me now?
We're getting an idea.
You don't hear me at all in here?
This is awesome. And that's, you know, in the chat, but if you don't want, but where do you want it? If you want, you can let me know. But how many appointments do you want this year? You put it in the chat if you want. I'm curious what your goals are too, because it's I like to see. But think about that. Where do you want to be? And now Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at these. I like this. Pretty.
Can't hear me at all.
This is, yeah.
Good, okay, good.
Sure, you guys leave some time for your sleep too. I like that. One a week. That is awesome. These are big goals. I love it. Now make a commitment to doing it. This is where you get to shine. Make a plan, write it on your calendar. Yes, I also treasure my sleep. But that's awesome. I love it. I love this enthusiasm, and I think that's exactly what's gonna. If you make a plan to get those appointments, you're gonna do it. You will do it. Just make that plan. All right, guys. I'm gonna groove over to slide 15. So we're gonna talk about skills that you need to work on to become an effective lead converter. And the number one skill is going to be making connections. So become proficient in connecting via text and video, through social media, on the phone, and with email. Basically, all methods of communication are going to be good. I think, especially with this group, this isn't news to you, but I wanted to want to make a point about this here is that just make sure to not count any of these methods of communication and connection out. So say that you're following up with a buyer or seller lead and they're just not answering your call. These are that, maybe there's a time then you could be following up with a Facebook message. Maybe why not try a text or a video? I think video, what I really love about video, and especially for the people in here who said they were a little bit like, I'm shying away from video. They're a little bit scared about it. This one's kind of cool. I like this because it's on a lower scale. But one of my icon agents, Tierney Jordan, she taught me something that's been so effective. So if you are on Facebook, I know you've seen some of these. So some unsuspecting Facebook friend asks, does anybody know a good realtor? And then the comment section is just like flooded with 30 agents dropping their contact information in the contact, in the comments. Now, you don't have to be that same, you don't have to be the same as everybody else. So grab your phone, make a quick video for that person and say, hey, Lynn, I saw your post on Facebook and I wanted to connect with you. That video is going to stand out above the rest. I seriously love that. It's been a very effective tip. And it is also just such a way to build connection too. They get to see your face. Yeah, I love it. I think too, the people in here who's like, I'm not really into the video or I'm shying away from it. That gets you a little more comfortable because it's just on a smaller scale. Here's my video. It doesn't have to be a huge production. Here's my quick video. Send that over. And now I'm getting more comfortable with video, but also I'm only sending it to one person. So it's not the biggest of deal. So hopefully that helps. All right. Voices. Tom here. Well, you just let me know too. If you try that, let me know. Like, I would love to hear all the follow up. I think it's great. Okay. Ooh, all right. I need a lozenge or something. Yeah. I love it. And it's like, I don't know, can you imagine if you were just some unsuspecting Facebook person who was like, here's 30 people saying, call me. I'm like, I didn't know any of you. I don't know why, nothing makes one person stand out above another, especially when there's, 30 responses there. All right. So the next skill that I want to talk about is qualifying. So you're like, okay, Alyssa, I made a connection. I made my connection and it's working. They want to talk to me about real estate. So now how do I figure out if they are a good buyer or seller lead? How do I move them forward in the process? So if you have been in any Fast Start classes before, you may have already heard of LP Mama. But if you haven't, LP Mama is a framework to help you remember what kind of questions you should be asking a buyer or seller lead. So let's go through it. The L of LP Mama is for location. So where do they currently live? Whether they, rent or own, where they work, where do they like to spend their time, and then also the ideal location that they're shopping for their next home in. So remember though that just because this is a framework doesn't mean you just simply come out and say, hey, where are you looking? Like ask questions that help you get to know about their life. So, hey, tell me about your current living situation. What do you like about that area? Where do you work? So what you're doing is you're finding out about the location of their life, not just, hey, where are you looking for a home? You're gonna get a lot of information from that. So P of LP Mama is going to be price. So I'm gonna grab a quick drink. Almost had a coughing fit here. We recovered. Here we go. So the P of LP Mama is for price. So we're going to talk about price more in Fast Start 112 and 113. But as a new producer, you have the time to really get to know your markets. You're getting to know your home prices, your home values. So conversations in this on price can be like, hey, tell me about what you're currently spending for your home. If they own their home, how much did they buy it? If they're selling, have you thought about what you'd like to make on your home? So these questions actually segue into our next one, which is going to be M for mortgage. So have you gotten pre-qualified for a mortgage loan? Do you know anything about down payments? What kind of payments are you looking to make? So, you know what? Actually, let me get you set up with my mortgage partner, Jason, to have some conversations like that. So that's going to be your M for mortgage. Now, A here. So the A here is for agent. Now, when you are talking to any prospective real estate lead, you should be asking if they are currently under agreement working with another agent. And if they are ethically and morally, you should not continue to engage that lead. That one's a pretty simple one, but uh, treat you wouldn't want someone to be talking to your lead under contract. So, give everybody else that same respect. Now, the other conversation about agent, and this is, I think, exciting, is finding out if they have experience working with another agent in the past. So, things like, hey, what did you like about working with that agent? What would you change? Because you get to find out what they're looking for out of a real estate partner. They will tell you. All right. So your M in LP Mama, or one of the M's, is going to be motivation. And this one it's my favorite. If you can find out what their motivations are, this is where you build that rapport. You build that trust. So when you find out, hey, we're looking to downsize because our kids just left for college, or my partner just took a new job. This is actually this motivation, that's the one that I really try to lead with. Like, hey, tell me about why you're looking to make a move, because it just evokes a story, and you get people to tell you the story of, why a lot of the times you'll get the rest of the qualifiers in there, like location, price, and all the rest of that, that good stuff. All right. So our last A is for appointment. You guys are going to get sick of me talking about appointments by the end of this. So we know from before how important it is to set that next appointment. Slide 18. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I see the question in the chat here. Before we, if they're not under contract, I think your, you're good. I'm trying to think back to what I was just talking about here. I mean, if they're already, it can be a very touchy area. If they're not under contract, you should be good. But again, just really remember though that like it, it could easily happen to you where you didn't get that contract signed, but you were talking to them, you were working with them, you didn't get that contract signed just yet. I would just remember to treat other realtors and, you know, uh, real estate business owners the way that you want to be treated. It's, yeah, it can be a touchy one here. I'm sorry, just reading the chat here. That's interesting. So I think Darren, like it has not been my experience. And the reason that and who knows, there could be plenty of other people who are like, it's absolutely been my experience. So when I talk about in your form, maybe a little bit different, but when I get in there and I actually get a face to face with these people, I'm doing a lot of expectation setting. So that's actually the first form that I want. Like we sit down and I want to get to know. Firstly, I let them know I want to get to I want to get to know a little bit about you. I want you to know a little bit about me, and then we're going to be talking about what you're looking for. And then by the end of this appointment, I just really want to see if we decide that we want to work together. And so I set all of those expectations at the very beginning of the appointment. And then they're expecting it. They're not waiting for me to sell them on something at this appointment, something like that. I'm letting them know ahead of time, this is what's going to happen. They'll see this form. But we'll actually talk a lot more about getting that agreement signed in, I believe, Fast Start 112 and 113. Okay, so we're talking setting appointments. Now, don't be afraid to ask for that appointment where you're going to sit down and have that kind of consultation like that. I want to remind you that you are a real estate professional. Prospects need your services. Believe it, they need your professional expertise. So the next natural step is to meet up. Now, I'm going to give you some power transition statements because I think as a new agent, this can be like one of the harder things. Like you may have had this great conversation and now you've got to switch gears and, asking for that appointment. These are some segues that they can help you move these relationships through the process. So you can practice shifting these gears when you're speaking to clients with some of these phrases. This one's my favorite, and it is the next step is. So, after having this great conversation, you find out the buyer doesn't know anything about mortgage. That's totally fine. The next step is to get you with my mortgage partner, Jason. It would be really helpful if how much do you know about the process of? So let's schedule a time to meet up. So just hold these. I know these seem very, rudimentary phrases, but hold those. Though, if you are kind of at a loss, those phrases are really going to be helpful. My very favorite is the next step is, because it's such an expectation setter, and I think it really helps. Okay. Let's groove on over into tool set because it's important to know how to effectively manage your database, your calendar, and your sales tools. So, the right one though. Okay, here we go. Your first tool, your database. So remember that there's a difference between your database and your CRM. So your database is a list. It's just a list. It's the list of people who know, like, and trust you. And your CRM is KV Core is what's provided for you here at EXP. And that's how you're going to manage that list, manage that database and those relationships. So how can you in the idea, in the realm of lead conversion, what you can do to really leverage those tools. So using for your database, you can send those, send listing email alerts. You could either do that through your MLS or your CRM. Like, oh, cool. Yeah, the next step is actually to get you set up with some of these email alerts. All of these tools are going to keep you top of mind and provide value to leads. Now, this one is, oh, it's such a game changer with your database. If you are um, CMAs and reports and explaining processes. This is such a great way to add value. When you are, I mean, say for example that you're working with, you're trying to get this listing. People really do love to understand the process. Now, you're going for the listing, you we're probably going to run a CMA anyway, right? You're going to run that. You're going to try to find all the information that's going to help give the information so we can figure out what we're going to price this at. What I personally suggest, and this is so helpful, is that of course you're going to run that CMA. You're going to run all the stats beforehand. Do that. Do it ahead of time, but do it again at the appointment. Do it again with the client, because they want to see you're showing them like, okay, here's what we're doing. So we're going to look within 1 mile of this. I'm going through it. They're watching me do it. And of course I studied beforehand, so I knew kind of what I was going to see, what I was going to expect. But that gives a lot of people, watching you do it gives a lot of people a lot of confidence in you and the process. And then also, with your database, remember that, you can send that content out via, email or posting on, social media. All right, one quick drink, guys, sorry. Okay, so our tool here is your calendar here. So remember to schedule everything on your calendar. And if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't happen. So in reference to your calendar as well, one thing I like to do is, as I think a lot of people use Google Calendars too, is send the client an invitation for your appointment. Send that so they can add it to their calendar, and then also just confirm that invitation via text or social media. So that I won't spend a huge amount of time on the calendar, because I know in Faster we really talk about it. I mean, you're going to hear time blocking. You're going to hear all about your calendar, so I won't go very much into it, but just in that reference of appointments, send those client invitations out. People love it. All right, so we have got some tools and things to share with you, some giveaways. The first one that I wanted to bring up real quick was actually, is that I want to make sure that you are familiar with how you can, all of our marketing center tools. And I did not, here we go, I'll do the link. And then I'll talk about our other giveaways that we've got going on in the chat as well. Sorry. Oh, Avatar just started looking away on its own. Okay. I'm going to get you the link here. Just make sure that you know about this. So the marketing center, you can create, a market analysis. You can, all your listing presentations, your buyer presentations, there's buying and selling guides. There's all of these different cool printouts and process walkthroughs that you can add your name and your picture to and really easily customize those. Those are all in the EXP Marketing Center. If your name isn't green, you won't have access to that just yet, but you'll be ready to go once you're fully on board with us. All right, and then I also have in the chat, because the wonderful Desiree is adding that to them, are some scripts. And I know that there is a lot of people who want some scripts. I love these. So there's really a lot here. So for these, I really recommend, because there's a lot here. There's a lot here, and it's almost, I would read through the whole document and kind of write some things down, but you obviously want to make sure that these sound natural and you don't want to sound scripted, but these really, I think, will be helpful to you. And then the LP Mama script giveaway is also in there, which is just what we walked through before LP Mama. All right, guys. And then I do, oh, where are these scripts? Desiree, do you mind sharing those scripts again? They're right in the chat. It should be right, Serena, they're right above, there should be links right above where you wrote. And let us know if you don't find them. Okay, those are PDFs. All right, guys. So I do want to remind everybody that you can always access any of these Fast Start series classes on demand, get the recordings, the giveaways, all of that. You can find that it's all on demand. So just click in the slide link, you'll be able to access that and return back to it or whatever you want. So just want to make sure that I point that out. And now we do have some recommended classes here. You know, if something kind of sparked you today, then I would advise there's a few different classes. There's applying the platinum rule to increase conversion rates, which that's a really good one. This one may be a very interesting. I think new agents go crazy for this one. Is scripting, why and how to use scripts. They'll talk a lot about maybe you can use the scripts that we just gave you to kind of supplement that class. This one is super interesting. One moment here. I love this class. This next one is winning by recognizing and adapting to client behavior. So if you are aware of, like if anybody knows about disc profiles, then I think this is one. If you are interested in that, then this one, you'll like this class. It's super interesting. And then the last one that's just kind of for curated class after this one is automated client follow-up. That works. So I highly recommend all of those classes. Okay. So as always, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. I'm just, too, even if you want to tell me a success story, I would love to hear any of it. So I hope that we gave you something good today. So I'm going to quickly throw a survey on the screen and then I will mute out for a moment and then we will open up to Q&A. I appreciate everybody's tolerance of my really craggly voice today. It is hopefully going to get better someday. All right, guys, let's do this survey. We'll open up to Q&A. So the name of the class is Faster 109. My name is Alyssa Sett. And the only mandatory question on the chat question on the survey is how likely are you to recommend this class to a friend or a colleague? 10 being the best. All I ask is that if you give me anything less than a 10, just please give me some feedback. I really do care about making this valuable to you and your business. So, all right, I'm going to mute out for a second and then we will open up to a Q&A. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, let's open up. Do you guys have any questions? Anything that sparked you? What can I help with? I would love to answer any questions that you have. Let me know, guys. What questions do you have? Also, if you're looking for it to learn anything specifically, I've got some kind of back end calendar access too, so I can easily find some things for you. So just let me know. I'm here to help. I'm so glad that you like them. Yeah, I love those. I love those. And sometimes it's just like reading through the scripts. You're so, like I would say, especially as a new person, you're like, like those are heaven sent. That like okay, no, that it's like almost sparks something in you, like that just helps you walk through that conversation until until it's ingrained in your brain. All right, let's take a look here at the chat. You meet a potential buyer lead, but they are working with a realtor but not under contract. Is it okay to proceed with them? And is that what most realtors do? Well, what I would bet, and that's one that I would say I don't like to speak to what most realtors would do. For me, I wouldn't. I would not go there. If because solely I really wouldn't want someone to do it to me. If I knew they were working with someone, even if like contractually I wouldn't get in trouble, for me, unless there was some kind of like agreement that they're not working together anymore or I knew something more, for me, it just doesn't feel right. I mean, I think technically you could probably do it without getting any trouble because there's no contracts in place. But for me, I just say, good luck. Good luck. Congratulations. Like, what other realtors do, that's a good question. I would say, I would guess that there are probably a lot of people who would answer differently than me, to be honest. Let's see here. Your Fast Start series for working with sellers. That is, the Fast Start series for working with sellers is next Thursday. Next Thursday at it'll be working with buyers, followed by working with sellers. It'll be in this same auditorium, and yeah, it'll be at working with buyers is at 1 p.m. Central, and then working with sellers at 2 p.m. Central. And back when the yeah, Darren, that's exactly it. It's just like it does. It feels terrible. And like I just don't want I don't want to be part of that. I'm obviously want business, but not that way because I don't want people to do it to me. And yeah, so that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I have a question, man. Okay, so let's say we have a customer that has gone on the website and we happen to instead of contacting them via email, we happen to come face to face with them and they say, oh well, I was just looking to see what was out there, I'm not really looking to buy right now. What would you do in that case? I mean, would you continue to try to communicate with them and stay in contact with them, or would you just, drop it and move on to, someone else?
Yeah. Well, what I would do is I was try to find out when they are looking to buy or sell or whatever it is. So try to get a little more of an idea of when they are trying to do that. But then what I would do is I would set them up on a drip campaign. So I would set them up in my KV Core. And so now they're going to get they're going to get my marketing stuff. It's not going to be aggressive, but it's going to keep my name in their mind. So I would say though, like, and sometimes you may have some wary people who are like, I just don't want to tell him. I don't want to tell him what we're doing. So it may be hard to get an answer, but if, maybe they're saying like, I'm a year out, something like that, then I would just try to get them a regular communication that's not overwhelming, that just keeps your name in their mind.
Or it's a drip campaign, maybe once a month or something like that.
Yeah, that for me, I do. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Oh, yeah, and someone else is saying set them up on auto listing alerts as well. Yeah, I mean, that's that, or maybe over the drip campaign. Yeah. There's totally a lot of different ways to go about that. For me, it would just be, and I mean, you could do anything you wanted. You could do listing alerts, which is a good, I mean, that's a good idea. You could even send them a postcard, newsletter with market updates. There's so whatever you wanted to do. I think the whole point is just, I think keep your name in front.
Okay, great.
Okay, guys, what other questions do you have? What else can I help with? Well, guys, if there's nothing further, I will say, please reach out to me if you have anything. Shoot me a message on Workplace, email me, whatever you want. I would love to hear back from any one of you. Otherwise, we will see you here next week, I believe. Monday is going to be, we have our working with buyers and working with sellers on that Thursday, like I said. But on Monday, we will have a database management fundamentals, and then also our sales fundamentals. So tune in there. They're really good classes. Thank you. All right. I appreciate everybody. You've been a fun crowd. And thank you, everybody. Take care and go jump in the pool.
Thank you. Thanks, Melissa.
My pleasure. Thank you. Take care.